Hello, this is Angela Toucan, one of the Pollies over at TheLilypad. This month at TheLilypad, we have our big event, Month of Challenges, with one challenge every day. Today's challenge involves masking photos, and we've been provided with 4 masks to use by the designer from TheLilypad called MBK Design. And the challenge is to use 2 photos that are connected to one another and use these masks on both photos. We're allowed to use extra photos if we want to, but for the challenge it's 2, and that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to create a page about a train track that my kids created, or rather their process of creating their track. I'm going to start with a new page, 12 by 12 scrapbook page, and my 2 photos that I'm going to use. This one here, which is how they organised all the track pieces. They came out of the box and got organised very well with all their stacking, and the completed track at the end. So that's my 2 photos. Let's move this one to the top. Now for the masks. I'm going to use this circularish one for the track pieces, and maybe let's just rotate it slightly and a bit smaller, because the focus is all that neat, tidy organising, not the stuff around the edge. So right click, mask to below, and now I have my mask photo. Now right now I'm moving the mask just to get exactly where I want it to be. Deselect, and now if I move it, it will move the masked photo. So now for this one. Now looking at the shapes of these masks, one mask on its own isn't going to give me the effect I want on this track, so I'm going to use multiple masks. So I'm going to start with this one, putting it over here, the aim being to cover as much track as possible. Without necessarily focusing on the children. And this one, we'll take this bit here, and then if I pull this one in here, that should give me the rest of the track at the bottom. That one probably needs to rotate. Let's just hide that one so I can see a bit better. Maybe we'll rotate it the other way. Yeah, there we go. I think we get most of the track there. Now I've got 3 masks, so I need 3 copies of this photo. So right click, duplicate, right click, duplicate, and move them so one is underneath each mask layer. Then right click, mask to below, right click, mask to below, right click, mask to below. So there we go, one track completed. So that I don't separate them, I'm going to group them now, and that can be moved about without them separating out. Now one of the challenge requirements is that my 2 photos can touch or overlap. Now as I don't need that picture of my daughter, I'm going to put this top one over the top of my daughter there. That way we're focusing on the track pieces. The kit I've decided to use is one by Jefferies Designs, also at TheLilypad, and it's called Riding the Rails. It's got these fantastic transfers which I want to use behind these photos to kind of give it, I thought it might be quite atmospheric. So if I select them there, so I'm going underneath, maybe let's try this one here. If we pop it there, not sure what about this one. Yeah, I think I prefer the blues. Let's just pop that there. That gives us a kind of a train vibe. Or maybe this one. Let's have a look, see what that one would look like. Oh, it's too orange. Don't like that one. Let's see what it might be like with one of these rails underneath too. Let's just see. Let's just thinking about how the transfers will work here. And actually covering up my daughter with that there works quite nicely, I think. And then I might put some kind of element cluster in this part here too. I'm going to just group everything here together. And move it a bit more central. No, off center. Let's resize it a bit so it's over here. I want space to put my journaling. I need to include some information about why these two pictures connect together on my page. So I've made a note of my journaling on my notepad. And let's create a text box and put the journaling in here. Thinking of fonts, I prefer handwriting looking fonts to typewritten fonts, particularly on pages where there's lots of masking like this. I think Bradely Hand ITC will be nice. It's a bit angular, and yeah, there we go, so we can see that. I think we'll pop it about here. And for my, I don't like black fonts, I like them to have a colour from the page. So I'm going to select a dark colour from one of the photos. So there, it's nearly black but not black. And now for a background paper. So in basic backs, I think we'll go for the grey one. And yes, I like that. So I'm going to lock that background in position, otherwise when I'm clicking on things I accidentally click on the background and move it about. So, and let's select all of my items, and again just for balance and putting this in the centre here. I quite like having this picture here in Affinity Publisher because I can see a smaller version over there, and it just helps me see what the balance is doing. And let's have a little look at some elements. So mixed media artistry is what Rachel calls her elements packs, and lots of word arts there, some foliage, some scribbles. Probably only need a little bit because I think most of the focus is that masking. But I'm going to reduce this. I think it's too bright, so if I just reduce the opacity on that down, it just takes it down so that it doesn't take the focus away from the train tracks. A little bit more, I think. Yeah, that's much better. Now I'll put a little cluster here. Got a nice little tag. Tags are good for putting dates on. And actually reduce that down so it's easy to see what's in here. And I quite like that little camera, and I think it might go quite nicely in combination with this tag, particularly if I thread it onto the tag string. Okay, now I could just leave it like that, but I want to thread it. I can't do that in Affinity Publisher, but I can do it in an Affinity Photo, which I also have installed. So clicking on the photo persona, I'm now using the functionality of Affinity Photo within Publisher. I'm going to select my camera item and create a mask layer. Now a brush. I'm going to go to the masking brushes set and choose something Oh, I need something much smaller than that, so let's go here. Right, now it's going to be very difficult to mask this exactly to this string, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to now select the tag and string layer, go to select, selection from layer. Now it creates a selection of the object that's in that layer. Now going back to that mask, now when I'm masking pane is only going to do stuff within that selected area, so I'm now going to mask out that top part of the charm. But I've gone a bit over the top, as in I need to go back with that, so let's just switch that back to white and just paint back in the bit I want to keep. So let's deselect, and now I have my camera threaded around my string. I'm going to group those two items together because if I move them separate by accident I'll lose the connection. And now to complete my little dangly bit, I think I want to put something on top of where that knot is. So looking at the colours in this track, blue is quite prominent, so let's go with our blue flower. And I think that will do for what we've got. I want to put some shadows on this, so let's zoom in so I can see more clearly. And for special effects, for drop outer shadows. And I'm going to take my shadows bottom left. And as that's on top of the string, we'll have a reasonable depth to that. And then inside my group, I've got my camera. It's quite big, but I want the shadow to go down for this one. And then the tag again, bottom left. Now if you notice here, we've got this string and the shadow's a bit wide for a string, so I'm just going to make it a bit narrower. Yep, I like that. I'm just going to move that flower into there with the rest of the group. Let's just call that tag. Now I want to put date on there later, and I think I quite like that. Now let's go back to publisher, and thinking about my page balance, I think I want to make everything a little bit smaller actually. So I'll select everything, holding down the shift key and resizing everything, resize everything, keep maintaining the aspect ratio. If I do this without holding the shift key, I'll lose the aspect ratio and distort everything. So central no, to the side no. There, I think. Yep, now it just needs a title. I wonder if there's any titles in that kit that I could just use quickly. We've got Riding the Rails. Maybe not. Let's just get a big font. And I've called, so let's see, engineering, there we go, engineering. Oh wait, engineering. That's right, justify, let's bring it here. And for a title font, one of my favourite title fonts is the Toffee Chip by Heather Joyce, but that's not quite right for this one. What if we go for Stencil? Yes, Stencil looks good. And pop that there. To give that title a bit of texture, I'm going to go back to my backgrounds and let's try that dark blue. And mask that there, and that's my page finished. Thank you for watching, and I'd love to see you joining in over at the Lilypad. Thank you.